Hi, this is Remy, and today we're going to discuss the Corsair DDR4 RAM chip. In my opinion, people have the wrong idea of what RAM does, or what it is even. They think that it's an unnecessary add-on to their computers, and it's not. Most computers will either come with 4 or 8 gigabytes of RAM. That is enough to connect to the internet, true. But it's not enough to play games. It's not enough to have several programs open at the same time. It's just barely enough to get your computer working. Now, I suggest to anybody that you always get at least 16 gigabytes of RAM, which means you're going to have a little more outlay if your computer doesn't come with it. And most people don't look at the box to see what it has. And since they buy a brand name, they don't understand that that motherboard that they're buying in there is a very cheap motherboard, and it may not even take 16 gigabytes of RAM. I have several friends with laptops. One of them happens to be an editor, and she has been complaining for 2 years that she can't load a complete Microsoft Word document into her laptop. So I had her check the RAM. She has 4 gigabytes of RAM. I said, well, we need to upgrade that to at least 16, maybe 32 if the board will take it. We found out that the board will only take 8 gigabytes of RAM. On desktops, they have the same thing. Most desktops will come with 8 gigabytes of RAM, but some will only go up to 16 gigabytes of RAM. So you have to really look at your computers very good before you buy one, and make sure that motherboard will have enough room and take enough RAM for your needs. Now, my best friend and I have put 32 gigabytes of RAM in our computers, and it flies. I can have one of my books open in Microsoft Word and edit it and do everything I need to do when my editor can't do it. She has to break it up into pieces, edit each piece, and then bring it back together and send it back to me. That's just not the way to do it. Get yourself a good computer that'll take at least 16 gigabytes, preferably 32 to 64. One of the things I have noticed with 32 gigabytes is that I can do anything I want and have multiple windows open working on them. For instance, right now, I have Vegas Pro open, I have Audacity open, I have Photoshop open, and I'm working on all 3 of them at the same time. Of course, I can multitask, but even if you can't multitask, if you're playing a game, you want as fast as you can get. Keep that in mind. Now, for Corsair. My friend is a Corsair lover. His name is Paul. Paul lives in the UK, and he thinks Corsair is the greatest thing on earth. So he talked me into getting Corsair RAM. And I got the Corsair RAM, and right after I installed my RAM, one of his RAM chips stopped working. And I'm sitting here thinking, I just spent $300 on RAM, and you're telling me that yours just broke? Well, I was not familiar with Corsair. He said, don't worry, it's got a lifetime guarantee. Yeah, I've heard that before, haven't you? Your car. It's given, the drivetrain's guaranteed for 10 years, as long as you don't drive it, yes. But he called Corsair, and they took it back. It didn't cost him a dime. And I was like, wow, that's service. You don't find that anymore. So if I were you, I would stick on a desktop, I would stick with a Corsair Vengence LPX for the DDR4. And if you can get 64 gigabytes on your computer, get it. It's worth the extra $60. If you can't, use your 32 and you will be very happy. This is Remy Meggs. Please like and subscribe.